For the players, I'll do it for the players. And you can too. Make sure you subscribe there either to this channel, the LCS_Challengers, or Path to LCS, or why not both? Because there's a lot of emotes on both channels that you can get custom made by Mufi. But we got to talk about our last series because we got to get into this one. We have one more series left for day number 1 of week 5, and that is FlyQuest Challengers against AOE Gold. And when we look at AOE Gold, this team, maybe was last week a fluke? Was it just a flash in the pan? Because they looked a lot better jumping into the second part of the round robin's beatdown.
They did, and we'll have to see. That's going to be decided this weekend. I mean, big thing for them was being able to... They've had some pretty clutch victories in that last weekend. I think Will and Breezy in particular had a pretty good showing there, and I'm wondering how they're going to be able to keep this one up. I mean, immediately just talking about picks and how things play out. Darkwings on the Tristana, it's been so big for them, and if he doesn't get that, what's he going to play?
Yeah, big questions there for Darkwings as well. Links on the Ziggs has been huge. By the way, shout out to Toast. I did hear that we have a Toast raid, so thank you so much for the raid, to give us all the viewers, to help out the players and look at what we have in store, because we do have this last series. But continuing,
they get a 2-0. They're like, all right, we'll give them a freebie then. You know, we're done cheering on our.
Young shouted out the Patreon.
Yeah, don't forget to go to the Patreon for Disguised Toast. I'm even gonna show it out there.
We don't work for him. We don't gotta do that.
Yeah, but it helps the players. Regardless, I don't care
also subs
what
to
it
the
does.
channel.
It helps the players. You can get emotes if you subscribe here too. There's a lot of ways you can help the players, so that's all I care about. But caring about the players, we got to care about the clips of the players to show exactly why we're looking at AOE, right? Especially, I was talking about looking at links with Ziggs, but also kind of looking at how they play around the bot lane in general, Kangas.
Yeah, they have been going for early plays. Will is often the engine for this team, and we're just kind of taking a look back at some of their... Sorry to Disguised viewers that are just coming in, because we're going to have 2 of these. This is not the same one. Yeah, so Will
they won
goes
one game against AOE as well.
Yeah, so this was AOE going in for double ganks bot lane. Will's been very active, and one of the junglers that I love to see this, where you go for a gank, and then you also go again once you get the resources out of them the first time. Just keep punching into that lane. The other thing is AOE will play around, like you said, Darkwings on the Tristana. They're the team that's going for these Ziggs Tristana lanes, and it's not just them running through everybody, it's them playing as a team around that. See how quickly everyone from AOE is willing to just sack what they're doing and jump up to help Darkwing survive while he's on these side lane pushes. Makes it very hard for teams to deal with. And then this is just the cherry on top at the end of this play, where they were able to pick up the kill onto Ryoma as well. AOE had a very solid last weekend, 4-2, and they are looking to continue their fortunes going forward.
Yeah, and keep it on the racing theme here, Kangas. I'm going to keep this conversation on to you, because we kind of look at how AOE has been, and we do have a nice graphic. I'm not sure who made this one.
This was Destrix also.
This was another Eric one. All right, you know what? Instead of Kangas, not you, I'm going to let Pete talk about this one.
Please.
I feel like it's just very straightforward. Last 4 AOE matches, Chad, Jank, these hands are rated E for everyone. It just doesn't get any simpler than that.
Why is his tattoo on the right side blue now?
Yeah, why is it blue and not
what's
gold?
With you? Why do you have problems with blue?
No, it's just why isn't it gold? Because it's AOE gold. Yeah, Eric, Destrix, come on.
Well, either way, you can see how good their fortunes have been lately, having 2-0s in a row, and then when we talk about strength of schedule, pretty easy going forward. I mean, they got FlyQuest and TL, but other than that, they're punching up against Team Fish Taco. They're going to have Maryville. They're going to have Supernova. So there's a chance AOE have a really big surge for the rest of these the 6 days of play.
Yeah, but they are facing off against a very strong opponent here in FlyQuest Challengers. I almost said Wildcard. In FlyQuest Challengers, a team that is competing with Wildcard for that second seed, as well as with the Skies, who've now cemented themselves as tied for second place with Wildcard as well. FlyQuest have to 2-0 here against AOE if they want to continue that running, have that 3-way tie for second.
And FlyQuest are a team we're wanting to see a little more consistency from as well. This is a team where we've seen some pretty high highs. We've also seen some very concerning lows. The Maryville series, again, Kangas, you know what I'm talking about, comes to mind here. But this last weekend was very good, much like AOE. They went 4-2, and they looked really good doing so. Big reasons right off the top were that we saw Yuji have some really great games across the weekend. Spyrex had probably the best weekend I've ever seen from him. Just some ridiculous gameplay coming through there, and I'm hoping to see that continues going into this weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
is this in
looking at the
particular
clips,
Spyrex clip? I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, okay, there he is.
I was about to say,
there he is.
I
Boom.
think all these clips are just particular Spyrex clips because he had a very good performance last week, and kind of as a player that we already had high highs of and high expectations of. He was
Why do we keep showing disguised gameplay?
It's kind of awkward.
This wasn't
I'm not the
intentional.
one who made the show. This is you
It's
guys.
for the fans, guys. You get to see more disguised even after the series is done. You're welcome.
You guys made the show, not me. I'm just here along for the ride. But speaking of along for the ride, Spyrex no longer the passenger. I feel like last week really did show the Spyrex that we saw of 2022 that was dominating and getting everyone to talk about him and Yuji and how they were playing well with one another against everyone, and why we were so hyped between this mid-jungle duo of FlyQuest challengers in the first place. But now, thing is, we have the racing theme that we want to continue, and I'm going to let you take this part because this is your presentation. You made the graphics. You can have fun with it all.
So, first off, Disguise, we got to move them up because they did very well earlier today. 2-0, they're now up here in the standings. When we look at the teams that are about to play, though, FlyQuest, if you remember earlier, actually, I think I still have it. Can I show this? Oh, yeah. So this was my expectation of power levels at the beginning of the split. FlyQuest at the top. They're not quite there, but like you said, they want to get this. If you are on the opposite side, you're over in the AOE camp, a win here is huge because you only have FlyQuest and TL. There's a chance that AOE actually jump up ahead in our race. So that's the quick race catch-up, final one of the day, as this is the final series.
Uh-huh. Tell me more,
That's
Magical.
magical.
Sorry. I believe that if AOE does win this one 2-0 against FlyQuest, that actually would tie them with Maryville as well, since Maryville did just lose 0-2 to Disguised. So, and then for FlyQuest, winning 2-0 ties them with Wildcard and Disguised for second place. There's a lot that comes down to this series, and dependent on how the standings could shake up, but I'm going to let you two discuss it all. You two will get us through our final series of the day to get us underway.
Thank you, Magical Beatdown, and everybody watching Twitch chat. To reiterate, even one win is huge here for AOE. And when we talk expectations against a team like FlyQuest, I think one win is what we should realistically be looking as, like, where AOE can be looking for. It would be very surprised if they got the 2-0. That would be a massive upset based on the level that FlyQuest is coming in with as well.
Yeah. So AOE, I'm glad Magical touched on the standings before he threw us into Champ Select, because that's a big thing too, not just for our teams at the top, but for our teams at the bottom as well, because remember, top 8 make playoffs and the bottom 2 are the ones who may be facing relegation. Remember, guys, that's still a thing going on, so you want to make it into that top 8. And there are some of these teams, like you said, AOE, their strength of schedule after today and after facing TLC, it's a little easier. It's actually teams like Supernova, Team Fish Taco. These are the people they are fighting against, and they need to get every win that they can.
And I think, again, when you look back to Team Fish Taco even picking up a win earlier against Wildcard, that means that the teams at the bottom, like, you're not safe if you're AOE Gold, even though you're in the top 8 right now. There is a chance that Supernova or Team Fish Taco can have surges, and you want to differentiate yourself as much from that pack as possible. Let's see how they intend to do it as the first bans are coming through. Tristana, Rel, Sejuani taking off the table from FlyQuest side. I guess we can say Rel's a jungler now based on how that last game went. And then AOE banning away the Jace, the Kindred, and then one final choice.
Some other third thing that we'll potentially see. But
you don't want to place a bet on it? Come on.
We just talked about that. We can't do that on stream. Like, what? Hank is trying to get me in trouble.
Or maybe we just jinxed it as a... Okay, no, it is...
Oh, yeah, imagine it was a nothing ban. That would be kind of funny.
We're good.
Yeah, okay, so it's Maokai. We've seen a lot of Maokai. I don't think we need to keep getting into why this champ is good. You're fine early, your ult is broken, you scale. Awesome. Kaisa, another interesting one, especially with Tristana out of the picture. This is a good flex pick. I mean, Spyrax and Masu have both played it on the FlyQuest side alone. I do like to see that one locked in early on.
I've been seeing it picked a lot, specifically into Tristana, if you're going in the mid lane. Otherwise, it is just going into the bot lane with those engaged supports. So we'll see where they actually send it, if this is a true flex pick, or if we should just assume it's going bot lane, given Tristana already off the table. If they go for something like a Nautilus, then that's really more in the line of, yeah, that's Kaisa bot lane.
One less. Nautilus jungle. Will very boring, goes for a regular jungle in Viego, which is fine, I guess.
I mean, I would never say Viego's a boring jungler. He's pretty
He's not
fun.
boring. He's not. But when I say the joke with boring is like he's playing a jungler in their intended role instead of like Rel,
yes.
which I guess is kind of intended now based on the
Very
patch
boring.
notes, but things like that. But no, it's still good for Will. I mean, we talk about Will being the engine for this team, which is I think a very apt analogy. And that he has been a big part of AOE's early game. So on a champion where not only can he have a lot of early game options, he's going to be able to have a big impact later on as he starts resetting on a pick like Viego. I think it's perfect for Will.
Yeah, FlyQuest locking in now the Azir. Arguably blind if we again are assuming Kai'Sa's going into the bot lane. Good range champion, scales pretty well, and Aphelios could be paired with it. So rather than going for the bot lane plus support,
Makes sense.
they will show their mid laner early, which means that now both solo lanes will get countered here as long as AoE save counter pick for Concept on red side. Interesting choice when you see teams go for this. I often am happy with just the handshake of like jungle bot lane for jungle bot lane and then trade the counter picks, but we'll see what FlyQuest is cooking. If they have a reason for why they wanted to do this.
I think it's fine because there's still tons of support options you can go for here. And you've already given away with the Azir that you want to go for a front-to-back style anyway. So going for a hyper carry with the Aphelios, pairing it like that is fine, especially because of how popular Azir has been in the current metagame. And so, you know, it's chill. But you do ban away, you get to pinch the support pool from Winsome a little bit. Really like the Braum takeaway coming through here. I think as long as Annie is not in this game, Tahm Kench, super juicer pick for FlyQuest. I'm just throwing that out there.
I haven't seen Tahm Kench played in a hot
It's good, man. I promise.
Yeah? Alright, I'll take your word for it. I mean, I have no idea on how that champion's doing right now, but it can theoretically, like, you want to play it into the things that are going to dive on top of you. You can deny the Heartbreak resets from a Viego.
Yeah, exactly.
You can save people from the depth charge. Actually, then you just get hit by the depth charge, right?
That's fine. I mean, you're Tahm Kench. Like, it's chill. You can live with that. And you're seeing them remove the Renata for that very same reason, which also is another answer there. Something to deny resets away from this Viego. I mean, FlyQuest, you're just looking to round out this composition. Faisal, probably going for something a little more tank-oriented. You just want to build space. You have two great carries. Make space for them. That's it. Rumble ban. You know, maybe Renekton is coming through here. Maybe FlyQuest also realized that champ is disgusting. Either way, good.
I do love Rumble, and I love that we're seeing it banned so much because, yeah, it is kind of scary if you're able to grab it for yourselves. Now, AoE, like I had expected, will go for a mid lane pick here and then save their counter pick for top lane. Dark Wings could be pulling out the Akali. We just saw Young pilot it. You get 2 Akali games in a row beat down.
Oh, my birthday was months ago. What's happening? I mean, this is interesting. Oh!
I didn't even bake you a cake. Wait a minute.
Oh,
he's big brain.
What did I tell you? Dude, I told
Has
you.
this even been picked
I
this split?
told you. I don't think so, no. But I really do think the champ is good. And you want to deny things like the Akali perfect execution. You want to deny Viego resets. You're welcome. And the Renekton does come through for Faisal. It makes sense. Good front line, good space creator. That's fine as well. And you get a really strong top lane to play for. And you get to play for Rift Herald. Because that objective is really good. Spoiler alert.
Okay. Well, it seems like AoE are not deterred from their all-in strat. Every single champion on the red side of the Rift will want to go forward. This is not a kite back kind of composition.
No.
This is a dive on top of them and blow them up. And like you said, Tahm Kench specializes in preventing that. I could even argue Azir with the Emperor's Divide does pretty well against these full dive compositions. It's going to be a lot of execution and a lot of finding the right moment for AoE to go in.
For sure, and it does make it easier for the Akali to come through here. Like, you have very clear front-to-back tools, and you have Dark Wings who's doing a little bit of cheating. Going around back, trying to use the distraction of, oh, look at my big scary tanks with all their CC, and then, you know, stab them in the back real quick with your shuriken. It's perfect. That's the play here, but it's going to be tough because, like you said, a lot of kill threats can be denied by this Tahm Kench, by this Azir.
So if Concept's the rock, Dark Wings is the scissors, who's the paper in this scenario?
Probably Winsome.
Probably Winsome.
I would think
He's
so.
the one that's going to have to absorb all the damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it doesn't get folded. FlyQuest, load onto the Rift against AoE. Let us know in chat who you think's going to take at FlyC for FlyQuest Challengers and AoE. AoE Gold is We have a 5-point start from both teams. No early invades.
And wow, so far, a lot of people are feeling FlyQuest. Okay, there we go. Just took a second for the AOE fans to come through here. And this is an important matchup for a couple reasons for both teams, both coming off great 4-2 weeks in week 4, Kangas. And now, for AOE, every win counts. Trying to avoid potential relegation, trying to make it into playoffs. And for FlyQuest, fighting for that top of the table.
Oh, going?
He's fine. He's fine.
Okay, they got the hook.
He's
Auto
chilling.
root. Damage from Lynx is not enough, but that will make it a very awkward start for Winsome now. He doesn't have time to back and reset, so he's going to have to come to lane with a sub-bar health bar.
True, which is unfortunate, and he did wisely not start E, because that would be terrible. And it happens. We'll see if that one actually pays off. I'm still expecting FlyQuest, because of that range advantage you get with the Calibrum for Masu, it's going to be able to get some pretty good prio on this bot side here for FlyQuest. And overall, remember, AOE, they're the ones who are spiking hard and a little bit earlier. I specifically mean because of Will and Darkwings. This mid-jungle duo on one item is very strong, very dangerous, and even though they're not going to have, in most situations, the best time fighting first Drake, first Herald, that's what you got to keep your eyes on for the squad.
I will say, I don't see these as being a mid-jungle duo that necessarily sets each other up for kills onto the Azir as long as Azir's played far enough back.
Yeah.
It's not like a Viego Annie where like, oh, there's this clear CC setup.
Ooh! Read the tweet.
What?
Read the tweet.
Time to make FlyQuest challengers look like their LCS team. Poop emoji! Oh my god. Sports AOE ain't taking no prisoners!
No, sir, and I really love the way you said poop emoji. I really appreciate it. But FlyQuest, if you got something to say about FlyQuest or AOE, NACL, anything, follow Path to LCS, use the hashtag NACL on Twitter to join the conversation. Maybe we feature your tweets on screen. And of course, don't forget to sub to the channel.
That kind of language.
You get incredible amounts of Riz if you do.
Only teams get to use that kind of a language on stream though, so
Probably.
make sure you keep it PG, everybody.
PG, yeah, I mean, if it's not PG, we will not feature your tweet. I want to make that perfectly clear.
You can have a bean emoji, but not that emoji.
I mean, that emoji, we can let that one fly once more. I think it's fine, personally.
Psychological warfare between the social media manager.
Exactly. I mean, players do it in all chat all the time. I mean, look at APA, and look at where he is now.
True, Deathless.
Deathless in the LCS. Most likely joining JoJo as one of the most muted players in LCS.
Quickly. Maybe that's the secret. You know, we were asking Young about that earlier, like, hey, does it give you hope seeing these other, North American mid laners find success? He said yes. We needed the follow-up of how often do you all chat?
Yeah, that's clearly got to be, like, a big part of it here. It's a good call-out, Kangas. We'll see.
Check with Darkwings and Spyrex. Maybe observers could actually let us know, because I know that they can see the all chat. We can't. But the observers would be able to share. Or maybe that's the refs. I don't know. Somebody can.
Someone can let us know. Maybe this is something we'll keep track of for a potential halftime bid or something later
It's
on.
definitely got to be Spyrex. All chat's more than Darkwings. No, they're not doing it. Okay,
they're
the
not
observers
doing
are
it
giving
for
us
us.
the
Well,
head shake.
Rip the idea. Let's get back to the game, I suppose, where nothing has happened in the last 4 minutes. Everyone is going for very standard stuff. I will say FlyQuest doing a pretty good job at marking Will. Oh, wow.
Ow.
Oh.
Spy's letting go for more there as he Lynx has to flash and cleanse to get away from the 2v2. Action happening on both sides of the rift. It's tough to follow both of it. But it's AOE that's walking out weaker on both fronts.
And I will say, something we've seen in past matches, again, for AOE, Will is such a big part of their early game, and what he's able to do determines the leads that they have. And because of that, some of the games where they struggle the most are when people are able to mark Will, use their prio, get good early game vision, like FlyQuest have done so far. And so far, they've made it pretty tough for Will to do anything. I don't want to talk about that hook, but
How did that even hit? I'm so confused. He flashes. Masu's in a lot of trouble. The root from the auto. Winsome's buying space,
Oh,
though.
it's not
But
chill. I
flash
lied.
from Will will grab the first blood. As Winsome now trying to run away. Will has the Gravitum. Won't land the root, though. What was that Nautilus hook? We need a replay of that.
Okay, what we really got to talk about is I want to see why Masu and Winsome were backing in Will's jungle. Because that's really what did that one there.
No, okay,
once again, we're not going to see
replay.
that. The point is, they get caught out, Kangas. And,
okay.
oh, there it
What
is.
is going on?
Okay,
What?
yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to keep it 100.
That was through the wall. What is
that? Yeah.
What?
I got nothing, Kangas. Realistically, like, the hook, whether or not the hook lands, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like, the point is, his recall gets stopped, and he dies every time here. So it is a good catch out from Breezy, and it is a good start to the game because, like I said, Will is the one who gets the ball rolling.
The engine is rolling now. Will with that first blood. And use that to get the Viego further accelerated. Onto the bottom half of the map still as they're resetting, but it looks like Masu and Winston will look to freeze here.
AOE,
as he's going for the reset. Okay, no plays bot lane.
Yeah, nothing's happened, but he's gotten a good amount of farm, and they got the first Drake as oh, wait a minute, Darkwings.
Ooh!
Oh!
That was smooth.
I mean, Darkwings just has kill threat now. Like, he could literally ult him. But we'll see if that one comes through. Still a lot of pressure on this bot lane. We're seeing the tier 2 boots come out from Masu. So the fact is, for the most part, AOE, under normal circumstances, shouldn't have gotten that dragon. But that play, Masu backing a little further in than maybe he should have.
Oh, no,
and it does mean that
now, like you said, Darkwings, this is the window to go in. Oh, you take that.
No, he's not going to go in.
Oh, come
still
on.
has flash. No. I promise. He dies there every time. He has Merc treads. He doesn't have Sork shoes. It's okay. Soon Kangas. The window's coming.
Soon TM for Darkwings to take that 1v1 against Spyrex. Not going for it yet. Level 6 now hit for both junglers as Faisal is pushing in onto the top lane. Happy that this is the Renekton into a tank matchup. So your goal is to take as many plates as possible, expecting that there's not much your opponent can do to stop you. And then use that gold lead to join up with the rest of the team or just create priority for the Herald. Speaking of, that's spawning here in under a minute's time. So we'll see how AOE want to set up for that. They are resetting their bot lane. Oh, Breezy stops the recall. I was thinking maybe they had a timer there to actually make the play for top as spot will get frozen on them.
So this is pretty interesting. There's a good ward placed there by Spyrex. They spot out Will, and it means they know he is on the Herald. So not only do they delay the recall, because you can see Breezy is walking to Herald, but they also look like they want to run interference, but leave Masu in the bottom lane. So there is a chance that if Link shows up to this, Masu will be able to collect plates because he should be at a point where he has the chakra. But actually...
Ooh, Spyrex still doesn't have the Emperor's Divide from the earlier play. Actually, no, it is off cooldown now that I look at it again. So he can use that defensively.
Wow.
FlyQuest have pushed AoE off of the Herald successfully, so they're just going to start it up themselves.
Yeah, so two things happen there. I mean, one, Lynx is pathing bot. They see Masu is on his way, and Darkwings used that big ult, the perfect execution. He didn't get anything for it. All your pressure is gone. All your ability to fight is gone, especially with the stats Faisal is walking in with. So, AoE have to respect, and a big neutral objective has gone over to FlyQuest.
I think a lot of that was Breezy not getting the back off early enough. That delayed the back for a full 8 seconds there. You're 8 seconds faster on the map. He was already walking towards the Herald. Good chance that you make it there in time. Either way, that is the Herald picked up by FlyQuest Challengers now, so we'll see where UG decides to put it as Will hover mid lane. Spyrex has ult and flash available, so unlikely that they go for anything. And yeah, just another reset from Will.
Oh, I like this from Spyrex. He pulls the wave up a little bit, so it's pushing to him, and he can go ahead and recall. He's going to get a lot of that wave. He's actually going to deny a good bit from Darkwings as well, since Darkwings' wave ends up being bigger. So even though it's 0-1 here, FlyQuest find themselves a very small lead coming through here, and Faisal, I mean, it's Renekton. He always looks like he's in trouble, but he should end up being fine. My eyes are on Yuji, though. He got the Herald. They managed to earn for themselves on the side of FlyQuest. He's got a couple options for where he wants to drop it. I mean, top side, getting Faisal out and around the map is a really good option. Getting gold on the Spyrex would be good too.
Good to see Darkwings also in the mid lane get a plate for himself as he's been shoving in. But as I say it, Emperor's Divide knocks him under the turret. He will take one shot, goes back in with the backflip. Takes a second shot, but does not have the damage onto Spyrex yet. again. The Merc Treads instead of the Sork Shoes might actually be the difference here, as Faisal now opts the Dominus. A lot of damage onto Concept right there, who has stacked a decent amount of armor already. Not enough to help you win those trades.
No, sir. Faisal is at a very, very comfortable time here. Oh, the timing.
Okay, interesting. Oh, Faisal will take one turret shot. Doesn't have the damage to kill.
I want to talk to you about how tragic that was for Concept.
Yeah.
Do you know what Renekton's ult does besides make him bigger and give him more health? It does damage over time to anyone in the circle. Concept ults Faisal so that he can get turret aggro, but he did it as the Dominus ended.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, one extra turret shot would have been the difference maker there. It doesn't happen. Faisal now backs, gets Gore Drinker, teleports right back into this lane with a completed item at 11 minutes 20 seconds. Is now the gank in the mid lane. Flash forward from Yuji
really nice.
on the Dark Wings as Flash. Doesn't need to use it and actually just walks out. The smoke screen was enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, Akali is pretty hard to get on top of, and the Merc Treads are really doing a lot of work here. So Spyrax will be able to get a lot of this gold, even though no kill comes through. But it's FlyQuest again, sacking Dragon Prio, 4 plays elsewhere on the map. Oh, hold on.
Teleport coming in. Darkwing's trying to cover the dive. Winsome uses the Tomcat ult to save Masu, but now with Breezy coming as well, there's no saving your AD carry. Oh, would love to see how that was set up to begin with. FlyQuest bot lane clearly thought they had it and just get giga punished.
Yeah, I wonder if Winsome's W at Abyssal Dive was on cooldown. Either way, it's a good teleport from Darkwings coming through to help secure this kill. You get so much gold into your AD carry's pocket as well. And Concept. You know, Faisal's fine with this position, so it's whatever. But
Life of a Malphite.
Truly. But a lot of pressure has been paid towards this bottom side. And AOE, you can see, okay, so the Abyssal Dive comes through right away. Instant cleanse ult and the teleport. You see Masu kind of going back and forth like, damn, which way do we go? And the instant devour comes through. If the dive was still available, they could have really walked out of this one, but the timing was just unfortunate, and AOE picks up some much needed gold on their side.
Over aggression from a very young bot lane here.
Yeah.
Winsome, obviously his story last spring was subbing in for the the LCS team for the majority of the split. And now coming in here with the side of FlyQuest Challengers, Masu, very young AD carry, very promising talent. You like to see at least the aggression. I don't like to hold that too much against young players new in their career, because I'd rather them try and make something happen than just play a passive game the entire time. Because then you can learn from those kinds of moments, right? I think that is one of those options where you say, okay, maybe next time let's respect the fact that Kai'Sa's got a lot of mobility and cleanse.
And hopefully that's something they're going to be able to kind of punish in the coming minutes here. But so far, I actually want to take a look at the gold and see where we're at. I mean, Lynx was able to pick up a lot of gold as a result of what just happened. And yeah, you can see it. So it's Faisal and his lead top side. That is mostly what's keeping FlyQuest in this one if we talk aggregate gold here. But Lynx and Darkwings, they managed to pick up a lot of gold from that play there. And you can see it result into some extra stats here, especially on Lynx's side. It took Young a while to get that Rocket Bell going through on Akali, but I think Darkwings, he's going to get there a little faster. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, catching up. Want to give props to Faisal here, who, in general, something I've talked about with him and his play style over the summer split was it's changed, it's pivoted from what he was doing on Cincinnati Fear, which was often playing more of a strong side, or at least being a big playmaker for the team. Saving a couple games for Fear in spring. Now playing on FlyQuest Challengers. He's been playing a lot of tank duty, a lot of weak side, a lot of just, okay, catch sideways and then group up for the final team fight.
Yep.
This is an opportunity for him to show, no, I actually do have what it takes to carry as well. We interviewed him last week, and he said just that. He said, look, I don't see it as that my play style has changed. It's just what my team needs from me has changed, and I can play both. So now, let's see how FlyQuest look with Faisal on the carry.
Yeah, I mean, Faisal, he did the same for Cincinnati Fear, was a big part of their success and them getting to top 4. And this lead he's got, makes it easy for Rift Herald number 2 to come through. I mean, talking to Masu last week, I even asked him about Faisal before their match. And he actually even talks about himself, praises Faisal, saying he's a vital part of their team and how they play the game. Him being that solid rock in the top side has been so big for FlyQuest, despite the bit of inconsistencies we've seen from this team overall.
Hasn't picked up a kill or kill participation, as nobody on FlyQuest Challengers has, but does have a lead for himself. Still has a completed item, building towards the second one, and putting a lot of work into this top turret. Eventually, this will fall. That's always the mark of a Renekton, though. You know, you kind of assume if you're into the tank that you will get the turret. It's a matter of when do you get the turret. Can you get it early enough that you can use that item advantage and that gold advantage to translate elsewhere? It's big to get those 2 heralds. He's going to get the turret off of this wave. That's actually huge. That means you can now get a reset off, get onto the map, maybe interact with this dragon with your teleport up, as FlyQuest will drop herald mid.
So it's interesting, they're going to just immediately pop the teleport from Spirax. I'm expecting Faisal might be looking to do the same too. At the very least, start walking towards this dragon pit. He's just going to go ahead and blow it. Denying the soul is going to be so important, and it's got to feel really good, actually, that you can see for yourself that concept teleported to the tier 2 turret, buying you a lot of space to set up around this Drake. So big things to look for AOE here. Someone needs to get a kill so that Will can start resetting. That is the biggest part here for this composition.
Ooh, Darkwings is beating Faisal in the 1v1 off to the side. That's actually really impactful here. As now everybody from AOE they're just walking away from the dragon. They're gonna try and dive Faisal instead. They don't actually get on top of him fast enough. He's under the turret, and now FlyQuest have started up the dragon down to half health. Will is in the pit. Concept of the flank only lands onto the tank. Lynx goes in anyway. Still looking for the damage. Moonlight Vision flashed by everybody as Faisal on the flank yet again chunked down. Has the dominance popped. Now Darkwings goes in. Looking for the damage. Trying to get onto Masu. At least just scare them away. Exhaust is down. Breezy goes into stasis as Faisal on top of him. Lynx not auto-attacking the Renekton. Now will turn on to him. Already lost their support, but Faisal will fall for that. Lynx has to flash, as they also lose concept off to the side. FlyQuest have a champion advantage right now. They've bullied Darkwings away from the dragon, and AOE will give it up. FlyQuest get the objective.
Wow, so much happened in that fight, but ultimately it came down to Will not getting any takedowns in this fight, Kangas. He wasn't able to get any resets, and FlyQuest were able to get maximum value out of that Tahm Kench. So they deny the Drake stacking, they prevent the soul point from coming through, and we're gonna see again what happens here. The all-in onto Yuji. Masu clearly safe, so Winsome uses the Devour to save his jungle. Masu even forces 2 flashes to come through, and the fact that Faisal was able to get something back on the other side a few seconds later was also the big game changer. You see it here. Forces Breezy's ult, forces his stopwatch, which could have been valuable later. And the rest of this fight is just going to be Will not getting anything done.
That was a very interesting setup. If you're VOD reviewing AOE, I think that's a very valuable one to look at. Say, what were we focused on? Why were we also split? Nautilus using everything on the Renekton, everyone else running up. Lynx not auto-attacking Renekton when Breezy's in stasis. Like, just a lot of stuff that you could always look back to and say, okay, how could we have played that one differently? Because at the end of the day, they lose their dragon stacking. That would have been their sole point, but FlyQuest was happy to pick it up, as Darkwings will push Yuji away from the blue buff. And they do deny it from him. So AOE, they do still feel confident, grouped up together. Faisal is a big part of the gold lead for FlyQuest right now, and he's not around. But now, as I say that, twisted advantage onto Breezy.
Oh, they got him.
He's caught out. The support is down. Spirax has the shuffle, has the flash. How bad does he want it? Darkwings and Lynx slow down. They might not even need to use the ultimate. That's a double kill over to Yuji, as Darkwings Shuriken flips back to the blast cone and will use it to get away, but 2 free kills to FlyQuest.
AOE feeling themselves a little too much here, and they end up giving away more gold, making their decision, their position in this game more tenuous. Oh, Darkwings, you needed to land that Shuriken
trying to outplay. Darkwing's doing his own bit of outplay here as Wells over the wall. One reset could be big. FlyQuest need to run away. Yuji cannot save Spirax. Okay, that's big for AOE to at least find one at the tail end.
That is something, but it's still small compared to what you've lost so far here. Oh, Yuji, you don't actually want this one. Your whole team isn't here. He's just going to go ahead and push this wave out. So these are some of the options that AOE have for themselves. Making a pick to Dark Wings, because remember what I said earlier, this mid-jungle duo, even though you don't have really gank set up with the Akali, you're both at a really big spike for you at that first item.
Concept sets up Lynx. Faisal's taking a lot of damage. This could be a big bit of healing. Doesn't get the kill onto Lynx. Concept takes him down first. Another pick for AOE in a side lane.
And it's a teleport from AOE. They're getting picks on both sides of the map here, which means Masu, Winsome, a little precarious with the position they're in, but you feel really good when you have a Tahm Kench, and he's just gonna go ahead and back off here. So AOE are still picking up some kills in these last couple of minutes. They still find themselves a pretty penny behind FlyQuest Challengers. But the big thing is, how much gold are you gonna be able to pick up before this next dragon comes through? Mountain Soul is gonna be big for whichever team picks it up. It always is. And AOE desperately clinging to try and get that opportunity here. So I'm expecting more pressure on this bottom side from both teams to ensure that one of them picks up this Mountain Drake.
Up in a minute and a half. This is usually when you would see champions look to get their resets off, spend the gold in their pocket, get back onto the Rift to control the access. Right now, FlyQuest have the mid lane push. That's usually step number one to getting into that Dragon Pit, but instead, they pivot up to the Baron. Not going to hit it yet, but they are posturing on this side of the map. Maybe thinking if Concept overextended, they could pounce on the Malphite. Now right back to mid lane.
And there it is. The hourglass is shown on the Dragon Pit. That means we're getting very, very close here. Members of FlyQuest, they've already backed. They've already spent their money. They feel pretty good about the position they're in. If Darklings is able to recall and come back with that Shadow Flame, it would be a big amount of damage coming through here. That second item, also a big spike for the Akali. And it offers a little more pressure to Winsome, because now he has to be very careful about who he uses the Devour on. Masu is that priority target. He is at 2 items. He is very strong. And if AoE get him out of the picture, that's a one team fight every single time.
Winsome's got to have that on his mind as well, though. I mean, you picked the Tahm Kench for a reason. You got that Devour. You can keep your 80 carry nice and comfortable, especially when the enemy team's not even playing to your side of the map right now. Dragon's spawning, but AoE have multiple members threatening Faisal. They don't even find a window to dive him. So they're just giving over the Dragon for free. I mean, I thought it was going to be a big setup. AoE seemed like they're incentivized to try and take these Dragons and continue stacking. But I suppose maybe they're just too intimidated to take the fight right now. But they don't get anything for this trade.
It helps that that top tier 1 turret is still up. There isn't a dive they can make on Faisal because he backs off. And I respect the attempt there from AoE. You're not confident in your ability to get this next Drake. You're already 3k down. You lose a fight, you lose the Dragon and gold. So the idea here is make a play topside. But I would have liked them to commit more. At least get the turret, get some gold in response. But instead, it's as you say, nothing for another Drake here. And even if it's not the Soul FlyQuest, 2 Mountain Drakes for Faisal and Yuji, that already feels pretty tanky. Even Winsome is liking that one with some of the resistances he is building up. Those individual Drakes are going crazy.
I mean, I love it even more on Tahm Kench, because Tahm Kench with thick skin basically has 2 health bars.
Yeah.
You're doubling the effectiveness of all the resistances that you're getting from those Dragon buffs. So, yeah, FlyQuest feeling happy with the current game state and how things are shaping up. Typically, when you look at it next and you think, oh, this team wants to play a little faster, they still have scaling. The Azir and the FLYC will be just fine as we get later into the game. And so far, AoE have yet to really find that big engage, the big, unstoppable force from Concept to land onto these carries and follow it up with the Akali, with the Viego over the top. And if they can't find those kinds of plays, the game will get more difficult. As now it looks like Spyrex is focusing the plays, but UG is here to play goalie.
Well, let's think about every fight that's happened so far. AoE, it's either Breezy has gotten picked off, or overall this team is not as coordinated as we hoped. Last weekend was such a good look for them. How they were playing early game, how they were team fighting. And we want to believe that that isn't a flash in the pan. We want to believe that AoE is playing to that level we expect from them here. So far, haven't seen as much of that today. They've been, even though they got a good amount of kills, they have really started to fall off.
Concept and Faisal just agreeing to not auto-attack each other anymore because they're like, it's not going to amount to anything. why even waste the time? The setup around the Baron was the focus for both teams. The FlyQuest give up control for a small time as they reset, spend their gold, get red buff onto Masu. It seems like with 2 items completed on multiple members that the Baron is going to be the focus now for FlyQuest Challengers. Masu has had a slow start. We've had our eyes on him for all summer split, and I'd say that this is one of the slower games for him, but we know that he is still proficient in the team fights as well as target selection. One of his strengths. As now AOE start up the fight here onto Yuji. Teleports are starting to come in. Yuji's very tanky. Winston uses Devour, which Masu does not have it, but Masu is free firing as the Aphelios Lynx finally gets onto the 80 carry. 80 carry versus 80 carry, and Masu wins it! Takes down Lynx, and FlyQuest claim 4! Only Breezy with a sliver of a health bar will escape. That's a 4-for-0 trade and a Turo Baron buff secured for FlyQuest.
Really nice team fight coming through here. That was one of the best looks AOE had. Look at the health bars on everyone on the side of FlyQuest, but the gold difference ends up being too great. And as you said, the Turo Baron buff is FlyQuest. This game just got infinitely more difficult for AOE gold.
It's those moments where Winsome uses Devour onto a tank,
Yep.
onto Yuji.
Yep.
I scratched my head at first saying, that didn't seem like the valuable target, but it still delays the fight long enough, and AoE did not all together at the same time jump on Masu. Only Lynx goes in for it. If you have Darkwings or Will with you, maybe you get that, but they can look for a pick onto Faisal as he's been late on the reset, but he's got Flash. He actually could get out of this. Ledge line used again. He has the Dominus now. Big healing back, but with everybody here, he got Breezy, and he flashes away! No chance that you escape this one. Darkwings is in. Maybe you didn't want that stunned up. Faisal's got that Kraken, baby!
Darkwing.
And a double kill in a 1v4.
You're fighting a Renekton. Once your ult is gone, you can't fight him anymore. So at first, Faisal is just stalling time, but he actually gets 2 kills. So not only do his team get to use this Baron buff to push the waves in, that's 2 inhibitors knocked right out of the park.
FlyQuest collapse onto AoE's base. 2 members picked off by Faisal, doing it all himself. Concept jumps in. AoE will finally say, this is revenge for our 2 fallen members. They will claim Faisal. Now can they get onto Winsome? Dub charge used. Masu and Spyrax are empowered to walk forward. They got these giant front lines that they can just walk behind as Will's pushed away from this one. Moonlight Vigil comes out from Masu. Breezy has to get back to the fountain. FlyQuest have taken all the inhibitors. Baron empowered minions hitting onto these Nexus turrets, and AoE don't have a shot at a base defense. One final engage onto Winsome as they have to retreat back to their fountain. Will trying to get onto the backline does go down. FlyQuest, they've done it in game number 1. Double kill to Masu, making a triple kill to close this one out. They'll go up 1-0 against AoE.
Wow, what a good game coming through there from Faisal in the early game, or rather from FlyQuest in game 1. This is tough because AoE, they had some things going for them in those early minutes, Kangas. We got first blood for Will, we got kills going to Lynx in the bottom lane, but then AoE just kind of let the rest of the game happen. Didn't really do anything anymore.
It was that Herald reset that I think really stalled the momentum that they had. They're going to be looking back at that one as well as the Dragon fight to say, how do we play that? How can we play it better? But that's on them. So while we give the players time to rest, recuperate, and recover and get ready for game number 2, we're going to send it to a short break before Magical comes back for our Rally Cry halftime show. See you there.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.